All right, what's going on? Doug Cunnington here, and this is the Thursday Q&A. I think we're going to try and focus on content type questions, but I'm sure we were going to go all over the place. I hope that you can hear me. I can hear myself on the other side there, so I think that's a good sign overall, and hopefully I'll see some activity on the chat as well to let me know that you can indeed hear me. I see Marty and Dana, what's going on? Tips on blogs, and then Shakir. All right, people are telling me the audio is good, so that's great. Thanks very much. Got a few announcements today. Let me hop over to my description so I could see what's going on. So a couple things to note. Number one, and I'll go back to this over and over again, but I like to get it out of the way early on. The Doug Show podcast. Do check it out. Another success story interview today. College student. I think that's the one that went out today. And additionally, there are 2 episodes that I want to point out. Number one, I think it came out on Monday. I put a link in the description for all these things. So if you don't have a chance right now while we're watching live, you can always go back to it in a bit. So questions and answers from listeners and from YouTube viewers as well. So actually give people shout outs and stuff. So do check it out. That one came out on Monday, I believe. And then there's also a whole episode on writers for affiliate sites. That is just a solo episode. I just talk for a little while about hiring writers. And obviously it fits in with what we are talking about, today, as far as questions. And I see some people are confirming the audio. That's cool. That's cool. And Richard made it, didn't miss me. And Shakir says, you've been waiting for a long time to see it live. Can I disable slow mode? Nope. I intentionally turn on slow mode. So is there a reason why you want to be able to send me more messages faster? But that is intentional. I turned it on purpose. So, okay. As we're going through the other little announcements, so a couple things. I have a Google Voice number that you can leave me a voicemail on. So it will be another way for you to communicate with me, and I'll potentially play your message on, YouTube, potentially on the podcast. So the number is listed in the description, or it is 406-813-0613. That's the direct line to me. So if you want to call and talk to me, just call that. Actually, it's not. It's just a voicemail number. All right. So just a voicemail number, but you can call and leave a message, and I'll see that you left it. I do have a few affiliate links in the description. That is for SiteGround, KW Finder, which I am actually working with them a little bit, doing a little demo work for them. And I'm also working on a blog post over on their blog. Additionally, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, there's a plugin called Amalinks Pro. Some of my friends developed it there, and it's a great plugin, and they're very soon they're rolling out the table capability. So it's pretty cool. I like the functionality. And like I said, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. A lot of people do ask me like what plugins I use, what plugins I like to use, tables, how I create those. In general, you know what? I hate plugins. I don't use them that much, but you know what? People do things differently, and that's cool. So if you want to use a plugin, that is a great one to check out. Same deal with tables. I really don't like any kind of table plugin because it's just a little extra overhead, or if it's built in or something like that to your theme. I just don't like them that much. However, if you want to use one, Amalinks Pro is rolling it out on this coming Tuesday, and actually will be a good deal. Now, I'm going to come over to the chat here, see what's going on before I just keep chattering on, and I'll come back to the announcements. Dana listens while she's commuting there. That's cool. Shakir has a couple questions. So, yep, you can ask, and I'll get to them when I get to them. Duke is on. All the folks in blue Thanks a lot there. All the folks where their name is in blue, they are moderators and they help keep order. They actually answer a bunch of questions, and I appreciate it because it allows me to just talk here a little bit more and not watch the chat as closely. Oh, Bill is a 5-figure niche site student. Awesome. Good to have you on. Marty has a second vote for SiteGround. Yep, SiteGround's fantastic. I've paid for some cheaper services in the past for hosting, and it turns out you don't want a cheap host. It's better to just pay for it. Okay, Richard says you started your niche site a week ago. You're on your 5th article. You purchased an article from iWriter, but it would have been better to feed 50 pounds to your dog and let him write it. Yep. That's my experience with iWriter too. It seems to be not very good. So, and Marty has been doing beta test stuff for Amlinks Pro. Very cool. Good to hear that. It's good. They're not just rolling it out without, a decent amount of beta testing. Whoops, I just spilled water all over my crotch there. That's cool. This should dry pretty fast. All right. Alexander says you've been following me for a while. The podcast on Spotify are great motivation when you lose steam with the content. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for the support over there. And by the way, if you're just joining up, there are links in the description for the Doug Show, the podcast, and I encourage you to check them out. A couple of them are very relevant to what we're talking about today. One's on content. The other link is for just viewer and listener Q&A. So I give people shout outs, a lot of people who are actually, like in the chat stuff. All right. Nice. I see Danish is on. What's going on? And Marty says that he has reached the next milestone, and that's 1,500 a month. And you may end March close to 2,000. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Great accomplishment there. Dana says you've outsourced 3 articles while you make your current ones KGR friendly, and you have one back already, and it's awesome. Cool. Where did you hire your writers? Tammy, what's happening? Other votes for SiteGround, and Alex from WP Eagle. If people haven't checked out Alex over there, you should. He does like weekly Q&As also, and he has tons and tons of content on Amazon affiliate marketing, a lot of like real demos where he shows like exactly what to do, the tools that he uses, as well as some of his sites as well. And Alex is calling out Richard for using the dog eating line last night. All right. Cool. So Shakir says you started a site 2 months ago and you wrote 1 KD buying word of 7,500 words plus 9 1,000 word reviews of each producer, but you're not getting that much result. All right. I don't know what 1 KD buying keyword is. What does KD mean? Somebody clue me in. I have no idea what KD, 1 KD buying word. I don't know. Okay. Moving on. J Vlog, unbiased reviews. What's happening, everybody? And Dana says you hired Texton and Upwork. Okay. Awesome. Marty is telling people to check out the 5-figure niche site course. That is another one of the links in the description. There's links in the description. So if you're watching, and actually I'm realizing that as you're watching a video, it may be hard to click the link. So come back to it later. There's plenty of links in there for you to take a look at. All right, I'm going to hop back over and talk about some other stuff in there. So we got Amlinks Pro I talked about. So there's a sale next week. That's why I'm talking about it now. There's a sale next week. There's going to be a video coming out soon on that, actually next week. So you can check it out. If you're new to the channel overall, welcome. Thanks a lot. If you just say hi, I should be able to see your chat in there. There's a lot of playlists on the keyword golden ratio in the description. So I encourage you to check it out. And the last thing that I'll mention here is a site with free pictures that you can use. It's called Pick Wizard. And the founder over there, David, emailed me a few weeks back he was asking for a link. He wanted to be mentioned on the resources page, which normally I just delete stuff. But I went and took a look at the site, exchanged a few emails with him, and it looks like it's a legit site it's actually a good resource. So if you're looking for images, that is a good place to check out. I'm not an affiliate. I think it's just free and stuff. Maybe I should have checked that. I don't know. But the point is, there's a link in the description. So if you need pictures to use on your site, you can just go there and download them and use them. Follow any directions it says for any kind of accreditation you may have to add for certain images. I didn't look super close, but there's a lot of images there. Okay. Next, Shakir says, you said in one of your videos that by writing KD keywords post, I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll down. What is KD? What the fuck is KD? You got to define stuff if you're going to start using keyword or like abbreviations. That is going back to my technical writing days from college. Whenever you use an abbreviation, you should use the full like term or phrase first, and then put the abbreviation in parentheses. Otherwise, people don't know what you're talking about, and it doesn't make for good live questions. So I'm going to hit some other information here. Maybe find someone else's questions in here. Richard says something. Dana says you have about 60 articles on your own, and that's the first time you've outsourced it. And Dana found myself and Alex recently. Very cool. Yeah, it's funny how YouTube, once you start watching a couple of videos, like there's a lot of shared audience and all that stuff. Dana says, can a product review site with 2,000 page views a month earn money? Yes, that is correct. Okay, Shakir has got his shit together here. And KD means KGR, the keyword golden ratio. Okay, I'm just busting your balls here because you were busting mine. As soon as you showed up, you started asking me to allow you to send me messages faster. Okay. So I'm going to pull together all your questions. And really, it is, you have a site that's a couple months old. You are publishing content, but you're on the 5th or 6th page and you're not getting content. Okay. So I suggest you go watch the video from, I think it was last week, 1 week ago at this time. I talked a lot about, this sort of thing. And basically there's 2 or 3 main issues. Since I think you said your site was a few months old, you could be making some mistake with on-page SEO. It could be keyword stuffing. It could be poor writing. It could be bad grammar, which I guess is poor writing, and could be too short, could be too long. I think maybe you mentioned how long it was, but basically, you may have some mistake. The other part is like maybe you just need to give it more time. Now, I'm not sure, looking back at your questions, you were saying that you have 2 months under your belt. You've published a lot of content. It's actually not a lot of content. You've published 10 pieces of content based on what I could see here. And you also mentioned that you have a buying keyword, and I'm not sure like what else you have going on. This is really common. So there's another place to look, and that is nichesiteproject.com/FAQ, where I talk about like, hey, my site's not ranking. I use the KGR. What's going on? Most of the time, it's because there's some mistake that you made. Now, the other thing, right? So if it's not on-page SEO, it could be just a bad set of keywords. I have no idea why. Maybe you picked keywords where almost all the results are e-commerce based. I have no clue. All right, Adrian's on. I think. Yeah, Adrian's on. How's it going? And Marty seconds. Marty seconds my frustration on people using abbreviations without telling you what they are. And I've probably done it in the past, but you may notice if you watch these videos often, people will throw out KGR often, but maybe like every fifth time, I will say keyword golden ratio out because it could be the first time that someone is watching. All right, Norman says you have no sales, you're just receiving clicks. And all right, and if there are questions, Adrian pointed this out last time. If you're asking a question, do a couple asterisks at the front there. So, and if Alex is still on, Alex, do you have any exciting videos that you want people to check out that you published recently? All right. Shoyo says you have the website, you build PBN links to their websites. The website that build PBN links to their websites will tools such as Ahrefs, SEMrush detect those links and show them, or will it only show normal ones? It can show them. The tools, the backlink crawlers can show them. However, it is possible for the websites to block the crawlers from crawling them. And in those cases, you may not see them. But generally, unless the person takes action to do so, you will most likely see those links. And Shakir, I advise you not to put the name of your site in here. So I'm just going to kill that. A quick note for anyone. Actually, I see this often. I went through recently, and actually I saw a comment from Dana over on Niche Site Project. Thanks for doing that, by the way. It takes me a little while to hop over and approve the comments, but I advise people not to share your site in a forum such as this, or on, let's say you leave a comment on an internet marketing blog where everyone's trying to, do the same thing. Basically, there's a lot of assholes out there. And if you, put your site out there, someone may copy it or they may hit you with negative SEO. So even if you are just getting started and don't have much traction, or maybe you're like Shakir and you've done all this work, for a couple months and you're not getting traction yet, someone can go follow your site, take all the keywords that you spent time finding, and then, use them themselves. So I would advise not to just publicly share your site. It's a bad move. It's a bad move. Unbiased Review says, can you please show us a sample of good/awesome content for a KGR post? No, that's kind of a hard question to answer verbally. And I obviously don't have an example off the top of my head. So interesting question, but the answer is no. All right. And Danish says, you have 2,000 page views. Shall you wait for more page views to build up, or can you sign up and add the affiliate codes? So that's about 60 per day, 66 per day. I think you can go ahead and sign up. I would expect you to, make a sale every other day or 3. So yeah, I would say go ahead and sign up. You don't indicate what the breakdown is as far as your traffic to affiliate related products or informational, but my assumption is it's somewhere in the middle. So I would say yes, go for it. Alexander says you get 15 clicks to Amazon per day, but no sales. Any idea? Blah, 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 blah. I would say if you can get about 100 visitors to your site per day, that should work. Generally, you're probably going to see a conversion rate of somewhere between 4 and say 12% for people that click to Amazon and make a purchase, something like that. 4 to 12%. The numbers are a little skewed because of the way that the stats and analytics are listed. So that means if you have, let's see if I can do the math right. Actually, it doesn't matter. You get the point. You need a little bit more traffic. You need a little bit more traffic. And Adrian says, add stars for questions. It'll be easier for me to see those questions. Um, Ray says, and maybe I missed Ray says, I'm thinking of collaborating with a friend on my site. It's currently earning an average of $500. I collaborated with Rob on one of my sites, or vice versa. Can I give you an idea how much your partner needs to put in so you have equal shares? Not really. There's a few ways you can come up with it. If you're just looking at not doing any work at all, this is an interesting way to look at it. So if you're not considering the work that you would be doing, you could just come up with a valuation for the site, and then you own 100%. And then to true it up, he would have to pay you half to be an equal owner. And if you are talking about doing work, like if one of you is going to be doing work and the other one's not, or whatever, then you have to figure that out. Like, what is that worth on an ongoing basis as well? For Rob and I, it was, slightly complicated because we were going to be doing like different amounts of work, and he had already had the site for a couple of years. So, we had a lot of other factors and just talked it out and came up with something agreeable. Okay. JVlog says, information overload. You purchased a domain, you're researching articles, you found you're going down a rabbit hole. Any advice? I would say pick one person who's doing or describes the process that you want to go through, and then just follow them for a while to like go through their content. What will happen is if you keep following multiple people that are all kind of related, but everyone's doing something a little bit different, you will be completely overwhelmed. And what will happen is you'll probably jump around from various thing to various thing. And before long, you'll be very frustrated. You'll have no accomplishments to show for it. And you'll be frustrated, and people will think you're crazy because you're like spending all this time and money doing things that don't work. So just follow someone, and then it doesn't matter who, right? Just find someone who looks to be trustworthy and successful, and then stick with them. Norman says, "What's a good daily traffic for a 2-month-old blog?" And blah blah blah. I don't know. Noman. I mean, not Norman. Noman. Good daily traffic for a blog that's 2 months old. I don't know. I have no idea how much content you have, but I would say if it were, a student in the course, I would say maybe like 10 to 50 visitors per day, something like that. All right, a deal. Put those stars in there so I can see it's a question. How much time does it take for a backlink to be detected by Google? It depends, but it should be pretty quick. It should be like 1 to 2 days or something like that. As far as the impact, well, that's a different question. But I mean, if you look at a tool like Ahrefs, like they find the backlinks pretty quick. So my assumption is Google's a little bit better than Ahrefs at, crawling the internet. So I would suspect that Google knows pretty darn fast. Go magnet fishing. I am AdSense disabled. Unfortunately, which other AdSense alternative would I suggest alongside Amazon? Marty says Mediavine. I'll suggest media.net. I have a video coming out tomorrow, fishing magnet guy. So have a look at that. I would suggest you have a look at that. And I don't know why your AdSense are disabled. It's interesting. Okay. Khalid says, how can we promote Amazon bounty program on our website? If someone has an outdoor niche, then the bounty program will be hard to promote. What's the best strategy to promote the bounty? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I would suggest it depends on what the bounty is, right? So, like, there's a lot of different areas, but just if you have the end user, in mind, you can target it properly. All right. So that's the only advice I would give. Yuhara says on page SEO, how many times would you insert the keyword in images? If it has a post of 3,000 words and 10 images. I don't know. Maybe half of them. I'm not really sure. And Noman says you have 31 posts on your site. Within 40 days, you got a DA and PA of 8 and 9 respectively. So I would say Noman, that's fine, but like really, the DA and PA don't matter, right? Because like really you're asking about how much traffic you should get. That's what you should worry about, traffic and revenue. DA and PA are just metrics from some company, right? So who cares? You shouldn't be like, it doesn't matter what your PA and DA are. Okay. Couple things. So I know some other people joined in, and I do want to mention Amalinks Pro coming out with a big sale starting on Tuesday. So I'm an affiliate. I'd get a commission if you buy through my link and stuff like that. If you are approved in the Amazon affiliate program, it's worth checking out. You do have to have the advertising API access, and if you don't, it's not really useful, to be honest with you. This plugin can help you pull images, add text links using like short codes and stuff, so it's a little more straightforward. You can search right within your WordPress dashboard. You do not have to like pull the links and all that stuff like the site stripe. And it works with Gutenberg or the classic editor, which is a big deal. So yeah, it's useful. And they are rolling out the table like the what do you call it, the table builder portion of it, which is very versatile. You can, it's responsive, of course, and there's a lot of different ways you can present it. They also have feature boxes, which I really like. There's a very cool way that they integrate the Amazon reviews within like the feature box as well. So definitely worth checking out. I will have a video coming out next week with more information. All right, let's see. Adil says best no follow links to build. I would say blog commenting. Khalid says, have I ever used Amazon CPM? What is the criteria? I don't understand it. No, I haven't. Unbiased review says, do I have any paid course yet? 5-figure niche site. I think a couple people mentioned it there, and there is a link in the description. So yes, I do. Sandy Storm, what's going on? Noman says, what's the ideal commercial length article? And we are talking content. We are talking content that was going to be sort of the loose theme. There's no ideal length. So it's however long it needs to be. Okay. But if you're looking for more, if you just want an answer, I'll just say 1,300 words. If it's a shorter topic, you could do 800, 800 will be okay. If it's something like very, in depth, 8,000 words, right? As long as it needs to be, Dana says, should I be concerned about the average session duration? It feels like people are turned off right away or they are bots. I would look at what I like to do. This is a good question, Dana. Potentially, right? You don't want people just like bouncing from your website really quick. But one thing you can look at, and this is kind of the area that I spend time on, is I look at the, so if you're in Google Analytics, I think it's under behavior and then content, and you can see how much time people spend on individual URLs. And that is what I look at. Because if someone spends like 5 minutes on your site, that's good. Even if it's like a, 89% bounce rate, if they're spending like 5 minutes on your site, that on that page, they're reading it. It takes a little while to do that. So, Naresh, what's going on? And Duke and Marty mentioned that on page times are important, and then Duke mentions adjusting the bounce rate to see what's really going on. Unbiased Review says, for a new website, is it necessary to make comment backlinks to get ranked faster? No. Shoyo says, you're confused. I mentioned in a previous example to mention the keyword in half of them, which is 5 times. Isn't that considered keyword stuffing? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else you have going on your site. So, and I don't know how long the keyword is. So if you think it's too many times, I think you should use it less. Like if your keyword is ballpoint pens, then maybe you should use it less because it's a few words. If it's just pens, maybe you could put it in every single one of them. So I don't know what you mean when you're asking about the keyword. Is it a keyword phrase? Is it a keyword golden ratio phrase? Because then I would only use it. I would use it 0 times in the images. So sorry, just it's hard to answer some of the questions sometimes when you ask a general question, I give a general answer. So going deeper is interesting, but yeah, I mean, if you already think you know the answer, then that's cool. Like how many would you put in there? All right. Naresh says, can we use timeroid technique to rank something something? I'm not sure what timeroid is. All right. And Danish says, how much a website with 2,000 page views can earn? Any rough idea? That's a very difficult question to answer. Kind of getting to the point of before. I mean, you're getting enough traffic. So, Danish, my advice to you is sign up for the program, put the affiliate links, and then you'll know. Because if I give you some vague answer, it's not actually very helpful to you. And literally, your days. I mean, you could sign up, put the links in, and you'll know in a week, like what it'll be. However, if I had to guess, Danish, I would say, let me think here. Between $40 and $65 a month. That's my rough guess. Noman says, I need your WhatsApp number, Mr. Doug. You're crazy. You're crazy, Noman. But if you want to leave me a message, there's a phone number in the description. So if I think we have some new people on, people come and go. The Doug Show is a podcast that I have. There's a couple episodes that I linked in the description, and they're relevant to what we're talking about today. So I would encourage you to check them out. And Noman, no, I actually don't want you to contact me personally, but if you want to leave a voicemail, there's a number in the description, so you can leave a question there. And Dana says your bounce rate is 10%. That is ridiculously low. So I think you're in okay shape. All right. Loving Creations, what's going on? Aaron says, how long does it take for a new site to start ranking for low competition keywords? Aaron, it could be as quick as like 4 to 6 weeks if you publish a sufficient amount of content. I would say 10 to 15 posts. You would probably get a trickle of traffic through organic search. Unbiased Review says, I think it will be great if you can share a template or sample of great content in the future. Okay. In Unbiased Reviews, there are templates out there, and I suggest you have a look at nichesiteproject.com. And Unbiased Reviews, I know I've seen you on these a lot in the past. So I'm surprised you haven't seen the templates I'm shocked that you haven't seen the templates. You ask a lot of questions. So there's links in the descriptions and of many videos. So go follow those. And then as far as samples of content, so I don't have one that I'm going to go over, but I've done probably something like 20 affiliate site teardowns. So I encourage you to go watch those. And then I talk about pros and cons. Additionally, there's a few 60 to 90-minute trainings that I have that go over like formats and templates, and I actually show you examples of certain things. So it's not all inclusive, but it's the pieces that are important. Jill's on, what's happening? And okay. Okay, you Shara, it is KGR. Why should KGR be mentioned 0 time in images? Okay. I think maybe show you we got our wires crossed a little bit here. Because I feel like you're asking questions out of context. And I'm taking them out of context as well. It's not your fault. So you said, how many times should you use keywords and images if you have 10 images? And I was like, oh, maybe you add in a sprinkle of a partial match keyword throughout the 10 in half of them. I think that's fine. Now, you're really asking how many times you should use a keyword golden ratio term in your content. That's really what you're asking. So that is a much different question. So now that we're getting down to it, you can use it. I suggest you use a KGR term like once in the title and then once in the copy. If you want to put in images, I would suggest maybe one at the most, but I personally would not do that. So the good part is you could test this stuff. So you could put it in however many times you want. And then if it works, that's good. If it doesn't, you could test, you could adjust it. So your real question, now that we've gotten through it, is how many times should you use the KGR keyword in images? So I'm going to say very little to none. All right. And let's go here. All right, a lot of chatter here. I'm looking for stars. Okay. Equine Acquisition says, for your new site, you're hiring out a bunch of articles. Would you recommend publishing them as soon as possible? Yes. I wouldn't publish them over a schedule. I would just publish them as soon as you possibly could. Sandy Storm, thanks for putting the stars. You're trying to figure out a niche. How do I find out which of the niches are doing better in your country? I don't know if it's a valid question. Okay. I would say, I think you can look for that in Amazon. You can see the rankings in the country, but I'm not sure, like you would have to look at individual products. My suggestion is you focus on the US because the market's bigger. But if you want to look at your own, local country, I think you could kind of get some idea of the sales via individual products, but I'm not 100% sure. Loving Creation says, can you hire a writer from Fiverr? The answer is yes. There's tons of writers on Fiverr. I don't advise you do that, but yeah. Aaron says, how soon should you add affiliate links to a brand new site? I would wait until you get, enough traffic to actually make some sales. So I would wait until you're getting maybe like 15 visitors per day. Okay. Dan says Google Trends ? Sure, it's a valid tool. And I have a video, Dan, on Google Trends, by the way, so you could check that out. An unbiased review says you have joined the waiting list for 5-Figure Niche Site multiple times, but you didn't receive any email. Okay. I'm sorry about that. There's a chance it was filtered out, or maybe you've already joined, or I don't know. If you send me an email to doug@nichesite.com, I can send you a link that should bypass everything and you should be able to get in there. Minute History says, "Hi, Doug. I've implemented your KGR strategy on my site, and I started the site on the 16th of January, and you have 51 articles, and traffic has started to pick up." Minute History, that's fantastic. And do you have any tips? You have 30 visitors per day, and you're really excited. Very cool. So, do you have any tips, Minute History? So, it sounds like you just started doing this stuff, and some other people were asking, like, "Hey, I've published all this stuff. I've published, 20 articles and it's 2 months old and I'm not getting much traffic, blah, blah, blah." So what could you tell them, Minute History? All right. So Yuhara says the limitation in chat makes it hard to describe in details. I want to experiment with a KGR to see if it works. So I want to try to make things right to judge the KGR method. Okay. One interesting thing happens when I put the constraint on the chat. One, it's a little bit easier for me. It keeps spammers from doing crazy stuff over there. All right. Thanks, Marty, and the other moderators for keeping order over there. The other thing, Shoyo, is you can ask. It's a constraint that forces you to ask a clear question. All right. So I haven't yet mastered how I'm going to do these live streams and get the questions in an effective way, where I can get actual good questions in. And I'm not saying yours isn't good, but it's like it was unclear, it was scattered. I don't know what you're trying to ask, really. So it makes it difficult to go through. But if I put the limitation in, you have to ask a concise question. Asking good questions is a very important skill. All right. I think I talked about this maybe like a year or 18 months ago. But it is what it is here. And I like the constraint. I appreciate the constraint. Okay. Truth says, I have an article that's number 7 on Google. You're wondering what will be more effective when it comes to reaching the top spot, adding more content or link building. That is the good question. I would look at your competition to see what they are doing. All right. See if they have more links or if they have more content. And I would kind of figure out where you're lacking and then do more there. If you go to nichesiteproject.com/FAQ, I think you'll find some tips for improving your ranking for a KGR article. So have a look there. If you don't have any links at all, I would suggest you get some links. By the way, don't forget, folks, if you go to the description, you'll see some links for the Doug Show, my podcast, or it's actually on Spotify. It's on iTunes. You can listen directly from the website. I think it's on Overcast. What are some other ones? Stitcher. So it's out there. Just go find it. You could download it. There's a lot of topics out there. I think it may be like half success stories. Quite a few success stories. And there's a few like Duke's on there a couple times. Marty's on a couple times. Adrian's on once, So yeah, I think it's a good podcast to check out if you're interested in this stuff. And for a little while, I think I even put it at the end of a few of the episodes where I'm like, leave a review, leave a rating. I got to say, I don't know how effective that is like these days. I guess if you have a ton of ratings and a ton of reviews, it maybe makes a difference. But there are so many podcasts out there, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. I think if you know someone that would find the podcast interesting, maybe you chat with some people on like Facebook, or some folks that may want to get into affiliate marketing, or they want to learn more about the KGR or whatever, share the podcast with them. I think that is probably better. If you could just tell one person about the podcast, that's better than probably leaving a review, to be honest with you. Okay. Shoyo, sorry. I mentioned the KGR should be in the title and in the body. What if an article has a 3,000 to 5,000 words? Isn't mentioning the KGR twice considered low? I suppose it depends on who you ask. If you want to add it another time, I think that that could be fine. Um, Generally, I try to be conservative when I'm giving advice because it's easy to overdo it. So I'm generally on the conservative side, and things seem to be fine. Adrian mentions that the KGR works well. So, oh, Dan says the Google Trends may help the person find out what a good niche is in their country. Dan, smart suggestion. Really, yeah, really good. Okay. Equine says, "Do I ever hire out the all in title search?" Yep, I have in the past, but I personally don't do a huge, crazy amount of keyword research. But yeah, the that sort of stuff, I would do that. What is a good compensation rate? What I use a flat fee? I would do an hourly rate, just generally. And by the way, I'm experiment. Oh, I meant to grab a link for a specific outsourcing service that I'm using. But what I'm going to do, there's several things coming up. I'll recap it in a second. But I am experimenting using a VA service, and I am experimenting with like certain pieces of the puzzle. And I could try and offer, more services, certain services, but sometimes, I don't want to do it because it's not a good use of my time or like my team or anything like that. So my idea is I'm gonna come up with some procedures, some SOPs, right? The process that a VA would need to follow for, say, blog commenting, and then I would share my affiliate link for the service that I'm working with. And if you sign up through my affiliate link, then I would give you the procedures that I'm using. So this could be an area where I have procedures, SOPs for, finding KGR terms. And then if you sign up to the VA service with my affiliate link, then you get access to my templates, right? So it could be a way where you're getting value and I'm getting value back because you're using my affiliate link. So this is probably a good way for me to, share knowledge on a limited basis, right? And then allow you like to outsource it in an effective way. And I'm out of the puzzle, right? Because the thing is, doing all in title research is like it's a low leverage activity, right? Um, there's not much there's not much margin in there. So yep. And the other cool thing is the VA service that I'm checking out. Basically, they're like they can use computers, they have good access, and if you need them to do something, they can follow directions. Like that's why it works really well. Okay, moving through here. Minute Minute History says, shop for good writers. This is his advice, his or her advice. Shop for good writers and train the one that's the most promising. Read everything on Backlinko, WordStream, and in your case, immerse yourself in the topic. And it's about a sport, and I do it 4 times a week. Very good, very good. All right. And Dan, I was going to say, I think in one of the recent episodes, I can't remember if it's the one that I'm publishing, um, or that published today, or the one for Monday. But Dan, I gave you a shout out. I remember you asked a question, and I talked about it at the end of one of the episodes. So the Doug Show episodes, usually I'll have like some topic. Maybe in half of them I go on some random tangent where I talk about something unrelated to marketing, and then I'll do Q&A. So I'll find some question, hopefully that's relevant to more than one person, and then I'll answer those. So even if it's like an interview that maybe you've heard before, because I try and repurpose my content all over the place. Even if it's an interview you've heard before, there's usually additional original content at the end of the episode. All right. And then Minute History says further that when you find a KGR word, you check the length of the top ranking competition and you write 50% more, and you use a multiplier for the KGR terms with more traffic. Cool. Very cool. And let me hop back over, see if there's any other announcements. And I actually may be able to get the link for the VA service that I use. And like I said, I'm most likely going to be talking about it even more. It's very cool. You can set up like a recurring task as well. So if I want someone to do, say, blog commenting every other day, then I could just say, do this every other day. They know the process, they know what to do, and then they will do it every other day. So it works out pretty well. And let me find my affiliate link so I could actually mention it here. And again, there are a few affiliate links listed in the description. So if you use them, which I definitely appreciate, I get a commission. So like usually it's just a reasonable commission. But yeah, I spend a lot of time publishing videos, getting them edited, sitting here answering questions. So if you need web hosting, SiteGround is fantastic. I use it for most of my sites, not all, but most of my sites. And Amalinks Pro, big sale next week. So even if you're not going to, buy it until it comes down in price a little bit, I think it's coming down like 50%. Tuesday through Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. And OK Relax is the VA service that I am taking a look at. So I will probably, feature some stuff on that coming up in the future. That's my affiliate link if you want to test them out. And it's pretty reasonable to get started. At the time that I'm recording this right now, this live stream, you can get 5 tasks per month for that is $30 monthly, right? So that's $6 per task. If I'm doing math right, $6 per task. The task can take about 30 minutes. So it's about $12 an hour, which is not bad for a general VA. You don't have to go and hire them and figure stuff out. You just create the task, let them know what they need to do. The key to having a VA, the key to even hiring a writer, is to give clear instructions and make it easy for them to follow the directions. All right. So you got to tell them what you want them to do. Otherwise, it's going to be fairly difficult. So, okay. It looks like we got through most of the questions. I'm going to see if there are any other things that I just want to talk about here as we go. So I guess I'll recap. Oh, and if you're brand new and you haven't, if you're unfamiliar with some of this stuff, go read the FAQ section. It's the first link in the description. So it's nichesiteproject.com/FAQ. I don't know how many questions are on there. There must be, if I just had to guess, like 25 to 30 common questions. And they are fairly straightforward in the answer. All right. So, we were talking about the length of content and 800 words and 1,300 words. And if you want to rank in Google, like some minimum amount of length is usually positive. However, when I was writing the FAQ section, I just knew from answering all the questions during live streams and seeing questions in comments for videos, I knew that people were asking these questions. Search volume, generally 0. People ask the question, they want the answer. They don't want me to go on and on for 750 words when 50 words will do, right? So if it's a short answer to a straightforward question, I just answer it. So nichesiteproject.com/FAQ. I usually just get to the point and I don't go on and on. If you want the longer form stuff, it's there. And there's a link in the description as well for like the niche site process, and it's outlined. There's like 7 parts or something like that. It's something like, if it's all printed out in PDF form, I think it's like about 100 pages worth of content there. But there's a hawk flying by and it has like a mouse. There's a big field next to me over here. I haven't been able to show like more stuff outside here. There's a huge field right next to me. Um, there's tons of hawks around here. Yeah, that hawk was just carrying a mouse or something. I think it was dead. It looked like it had already killed it. But anyway, it's always fun to see wildlife out there. All right. Any other questions before? Okay. Let's see. Unbiased review says, why don't you public even a single of your site? I think you're asking, why don't I show my site? And it's because of negative SEO. All right. It's because of negative SEO. And if you go look at other public case studies, I think you'll find unbiased reviews that basically they all end in disaster. All right. They all end up getting screwed up because some people go and hit them with negative SEO, or they completely rip off the sites, right? They completely just end up with copycats. So that is why I chose, like, across the board not to do it. All right. So unbiased reviews, shoot me an email if you want to have a look at the course. Like I said, I don't know why you're not getting any emails or anything like that. There's a strong chance that you signed up for the list in the past, and then you're already on the list and you've gotten emails, or maybe they all went to spam, or maybe a lot of times they will go to another folder, another tab in your Google Gmail area. So a lot of times that is what happens. Marty says, I use clear, concise answers in the content box in many info posts, and the rest is additional in-depth info. Now they're the rich snippets. Yep. And that is a smart, just if you always have the visitor in mind, you'll be in good shape. And Marty seconds the idea of sharing your public sites. All right. And I try to do people a favor by, if someone puts their site in the text here, or sometimes if they try and leave a comment and they put their site there, if I have the ability to, a lot of times I'll get rid of the link for them and just do them a favor. But yeah, it's generally not a good idea. Generally not a good idea. And well, today was about content, so I'll try and give some tips around content, just in summary. A lot of the common questions I see. So, how much should I pay for 1,000 words? That's super common. Generally, I'm paying on average $18, give or take. That is a reasonable rate for, like, a person getting started on a freelance service, maybe like Upwork. That's typically where I hire people. So I pay about $18 for 1,000 words. And there's some churn with that, right? A lot of times I can get some highly qualified writers, but as they get more reviews and they are able to charge more, they don't want to work with me anymore. That's fine. If I wanted to keep people longer, I can give them, incremental raises to stay current with what they're charging. So the other part is like how long should you wait to give someone a raise, right? Been talking a lot about that. It's totally up to you, and I do like to give surprise raises out there. So even if it's a small amount, a dollar, an additional dollar, helps pay for the fees that the freelancer has to pay for with Upwork. So even if it's a small amount, they notice it. And if you do it without them asking, that's a good thing to do. So maybe after you go through a couple trial gigs with a writer and they're doing a good job, they're turning in work on time, they're following directions and all that good stuff, give them a little raise. Figure out what's right for you, what can work. And then the other part, let's see, some other common questions. Oh, content managers. So there's a decent amount of work, like even if you have the content written, to draft the post in WordPress takes time, right? Someone should do copy editing to make sure there's no grammar mistakes and stuff like that. And then you also want to, like, add images, add affiliate links, do some formatting, make sure the subheadings are in there. And well, as much work as you can have the writer do as far as the formatting and paragraph length and all that, very effective. You should get them to do as much as they can. But having a separate and different person doing the drafting inside WordPress, great way to save time. And that, like when I added that role, I was able to publish a whole lot more content. Very useful for me. So, those are a lot of the main questions, several that I've gotten in the last week or so. All right. Unbiased Review says the sites that Income School has shared, should we follow a bit of their strategy or that's out of date now? So I don't know exactly what Income School teaches exactly. So I can't comment on that. I think they have a few courses which are current, and I don't think they're necessarily out of date. As far as other sites that they've shared in the past, I'm not really sure. So I can't really comment, but I don't one thing that I could point out is I don't think mixing my strategy and their strategy before you have figured out each one of them individually is a good idea. I think if you try and do both, it could be a little bit confusing because we contradict each other in very specific ways that like are important. So if you're going to mix and match it, you should make sure you understand what's working for you specifically and what's not working, and then you can make it effective. So Alwyn says, which site do I recommend buying PBN links from since you recommend it inside your course? Alwyn, I don't think that's true. Can you tell me where I recommend? Number one, Alwyn, I don't think you're in the course, are you? And further, I don't think I recommend that anywhere in the course. I'm absolutely certain of that. So, Alwyn, if you want to, clarify what you're asking here. Okay, unbiased reviews. Kindly share your email and blah blah blah. Um, okay, unbiased reviews. I think I already told you it's Doug at nichesiteproject.com, but I'm not sure the course is for you. I'll be straight up with you. Based on the questions that you're asking, I'm not sure if you're a good student for the course. And if you want to check it out, you can. There's many ways for you to find my email address, and I've told you twice. And like I said, I don't think you're a good student for the course. So if you still want to shoot me an email, you can. Okay. Dana says, if you want the writer to be a long-term partner, do you set up a one-time project on Upwork and only invite that person? Yes. Or do I create an ongoing project instead? I think I usually just have a job there, and then I just invite the person, like you said, and just have ongoing milestones happening. Yep. Dan says, will Amazon approve an affiliate without content, though you have 10 articles ready to publish? No, but what you should do, Dan, is like publish the content. Don't apply until you're getting about 10 or 15 visitors a day. And then you'll basically you're automatically accepted. But the thing is, you don't want to be waiting for traffic to come. You want to have a little traffic ahead of time. DNA, what's going on? Theo, yeah, it's been a while. Oh, and I think Marty says, how's the beer in the new city? It's fantastic. So I had traveled a lot to this area over the last several years anyway. But yeah, just in my own neighborhood here in like a couple mile radius, I think there's something like 12 breweries, some very good ones, some nationally distributed ones like Left Hand is very close by. Avery is very close by as well. So, all right. And Theo says, do I give the VA access to my Amazon account? No, that would be bananas. Do I pay them hourly? Depends on what the VA is doing. And basically, to do affiliate links, you don't need to have a person doesn't need to have access. They just need to have your tracking ID. That's all. And then you could, write the code, the HTML link to do that. So, and then, yep. Yeah, and then if you're using a plugin like AmmoLinks Pro, for example, then it's built in like within the WordPress dashboard. And there's also like a short code format that you could use. It's all automated. You don't have to use the short codes, but you can. Personally, I prefer to use short codes most of the time rather than like an interface because interfaces are slow most of the time. And if you have like a specific format, then you could just put in like the short code format or the HTML link format. All right. Cool. I think we did it for today. So I'm out of here. As I mentioned, I'm going to try and do more of these live streams. So this is 2 weeks in a row. Don't forget there is a link in the description for a phone number that you can leave voicemails for the Doug Show or the YouTube channel in general. So, all right, thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks to Duke and Marty and Adrian for being active as moderators in the chat. And thanks for all the students that hopped on as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Shoyo, Dana, for hopping on. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you later.